6 years ago, while I was sitting in my high school class, something happened to me. I started having a panic attack. This is that story. First things first, let me just real quick say hello. My name is Colin Hoop. I'm a professional magician and I've been doing YouTube for the last 4 years. This is my YouTube channel, Mystery Magic Vlogs. And yes, I deal with panic attacks. I deal with stress and anxiety every single day. Matter of fact, about a couple weeks ago, while I was traveling with a camp, we were working with a lot of students and a lot of kids that were dealing with a lot of suicidal thoughts, kids that dealt with divorce in their families. Just there were a lot of problems. I faced those problems as a person saying, hey, I'm here to help you guys out. And I had a panic attack at one point in time. And it's just an awesome thing to know that what that is. And I want to talk to you guys about what exactly happened during my first ever panic attack. And I've seen a couple of videos like this on YouTube of people talking about their panic attacks, the first one they ever had. And I wanted to make this video out today. So here you go. First things first, let me start this off by giving you guys a little bit of a background story. So I've been going to high school for now about 2 years when this panic attack happened. But when I was in middle school and when I was younger, for some weird reason, I had blackout spells, really bad blackout spells, where I would just black out at random moments. I blacked out in class once, slumped over, and fell out of my chair to only wake up to the teacher and 5 other students surrounding me. But I didn't realize that that was a panic attack until my second year in high school. So in my high school, you need to at least take 3 years of gym class, or you can take 2 years of Army Cadet Corps JROTC, which is what I actually did. I took 2 years of ROTC where I, yes, wore a uniform, had to get my hair shaved, didn't have a beard, marched around like a lunatic, sat there and barked orders at people. I carried a rifle, I did drills, I was a drill team leader, I was a drill team commander. I did all these different fun and awesome things in ROTC. And when it came to my last year, I had a final exam on the last day, and I had a panic attack. And this was the first time I ever had a panic attack like this, and more importantly, this was the first time I ever realized that I suffer from panic attacks. So here's what ended up happening. The day before I was supposed to go to the test, I had 6 final exams that I needed to study for. And I was really just trying to cram as much stuff into my head as I possibly could to prepare for all of the tests, the science test, the math test, the history test. Every single test I was trying to cram into my mind, and I overlook the most simplest thing that I need to do before a test, which is sleep. So I walk into the classroom, and my XO commanding officer, who is the teacher of the entire class, was sitting there saying, all right, guys, we're going to do the final exam today. Just relax, have a seat. It should be very easy. All you guys should pass. Just answer the 15 questions. 15 questions. 15 questions is all I had to ask, and then this happened. My drill instructor came into the room, who is the second teacher of the classroom, had a little coffee cup, and it was in the early morning, and he wanted to wake us up with a little practical joke, which is totally fine. He sets the cup on the floor and stomps on it, making a loud pop. And something weird happened. I responded to him, but not like you usually do. I sat there, looked at him, and said, stop it! Don't do it! Stop it! And I caught myself. Why was I saying that? Why would I say it like that? That's so mean of me to sit there and say that. Why would I do it that way? That was the first sign I was having a panic attack. The attack had started because I was really stressed out and didn't sleep last night. Going straight into this test and being startled like that put a lot of fear into me, and in my mind started racing and making up fake hypothetical questions, hypothetical things, and the panic attack started. And for the first 5 minutes, I didn't even know I was having a panic attack. It really didn't show any effects or anything except for that. Then about 20 minutes into the test, I get the piece of paper, I start writing down and circling the answers. I get 5 questions in, and I freeze. And I couldn't move. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. I can't move my hand, I can't move my eyes, I can't do anything. I'm locked up. But I can talk totally fine. But I wasn't talking. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what's going on? What's going on? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And then all of a sudden, I felt something very, very weird. You ever sleep on your hand or your leg and you wake up the next morning and you feel those pins and needles as your hand is asleep? That's what I started to feel. Except that I was totally fine, upright, and had perfect circulation throughout my entire body of blood. And my hands started getting numb. And then my other hand started getting numb. And then my feet started getting numb. And over the course of 15 minutes, my entire body went numb. Completely numb. And I passed out in the middle of class. It's scary enough to take a final exam without knowing any of the questions, but it's another thing to just pass out from a panic attack. When I woke up, I checked my watch that was on my arm, and I had been out for about 30 minutes still having this panic attack. And when I woke up, my eyes were twitching. My stomach, I felt like I was going to basically die. I had shortness of breath. I couldn't breathe. I was just having this panic attack and panic and panic and panic. And then I started hearing voices in my head. These voices sat there and kept saying, you're worthless, you're pathetic, you're stupid, you're this, you're that, no one cares about you, no one loves you. And it was the bullies that I had in elementary school. I could hear their voices clearly saying to me, you're pathetic, you're stupid. Everything that they sat there and told me a long time ago was coming back to my head. And I just kept hearing it over and over and over and over. You're worthless, you're pathetic, you're stupid. No one loves you, no one cares about you. You will never find love. You will never be successful. You will never have a real job. You will never, ever be successful. You will never, ever... Just everything kept coming back to me, coming back and coming back and coming back. And I just had to sit back and be like, I need help. I need help. I'm dying right now. I need help. Literally, that's what was going through my mind. In reality, I was just having a panic attack, which is really nothing. So here's what ended up happening. I take my pen and try to lift up my hand so I can ask for help. But I dropped the pen, and my hand went to the table, and I just started to nod in and out of existence. Kind of like that, when all of a sudden, my partner who was sitting next to me sat there and said, Colin, are you okay? Colin, are you okay? And I sat there and looked at him and said, get sergeant. Get sergeant. That's the only words I could say was, get sergeant. Get help. Just go get help. You see, we have two teachers in our classroom. Command Sergeant Major, who was our head lead person, who was in the military for 23 years and is an awesome guy. Then our second teacher, who was a Army surgeon and medical doctor, was sitting in the other room. After I sat there and said, go get sergeant, my partner immediately stood up and ran over and grabbed sergeant and came in. And he see me, I was having a panic attack. He knew exactly what was going on. And he sat there and said, we need to get you to a doctor. You need help. That did not help at all. That made the entire thing even worse. Because now I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why do I need to go to the doctor? Why do I need help? What's going on right now with my body? Why doesn't it work? And literally, I had to have two other cadets pick me up and carry me down to the principal's office to where I had to get first aid admission immediately because I was going into shock. And I was going into a part where if I don't get attention really quickly, I could actually pass out again and do serious damage. And they wanted to get me to a safe place where I wouldn't be in any trouble. Getting into the principal's office, my panic attack started to slow down and I didn't hear any of the voices. I heard everyone else's voices around me. My eyes were still shaking. I felt very, very numb. I was still having this panic attack and it was still in full-fledged, but just the voices were gone. And I remember my mom comes running into the building. Like, she heard about this and she comes running into the building and she sees me and a security guard who is a first aid EMT. He does 2 jobs on the weekend, which is awesome. And thank God that he works there. He sits down and comes to try to start helping me. And my mom comes in and is like, Colin, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And she's not helping at all. She then sits there and looks at me and goes, Colin, stop playing around. Stop playing around. Stop acting. Because she thinks I was acting, which was totally fine. And that's totally a responsible response when a student in, high school doesn't want to leave or wants to leave class because of a final exam. But this was not one of those situations, and it almost made it a little bit worse because I couldn't say anything to my mom. I couldn't talk, I couldn't focus. So then the security officer sat there and said, "Hey, why don't you just go ahead and just step out for a second?" When I was in Boy Scouts, I actually was a first aid and camp nurse for 2 years. Surprisingly, me, of all people. And I would do first aid stuff constantly. And one of the really big things that they taught us in first aid was to make sure that you control the audience around you. So that way, if someone was to come in and say something, or just try to do crowd control, and if I can't do my job, if I have to deal with someone else, then that's a problem. If I have to sit here and say, "Hey guys, please back up. Let's give this guy some space so we can actually sit down and focus and work," it's an awesome and incredible thing. And that's what the security guard did for me and my mom. They immediately administer first aid. They start helping me out. They help me calm down. Thankfully, I didn't have to take any medication for it, and I still don't have to take any medication for it, which is a huge blessing. But in order for me to actually control and stop my panic attack, simple as this, he literally goes into the trash can, pulls out a plastic bag, and says, "Here, breathe in and out slowly." And I did. I breathed into a bag, and I sucked the air back in. I breathed into the bag. I took the air back in, out, in, out, in. And after about 5 minutes of doing that, the panic attack subsided and it stopped. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, I'm good now, right? No. I had no idea what that was. I had no idea what the heck happened. And I didn't even understand why it happened. So my mom said, "We're going to go to your family doctor." So we went to the family doctor right after school, and she was super awesome because she was really busy. She heard about me having a panic attack, and she stopped and said, "I'm going to take time for you," which is super awesome. She's an awesome and really nice person. I haven't seen her in the last couple of months, which has been awesome because I'm no longer sick. But she sat there and said, "Colin, I want to talk to you about panic attacks." And the only thing going through my mind was, "Are you gonna run blood tests?" And she goes, No. No more blood tests, no shots, no needles. I just want to talk to you and see how you're doing." And we sat down for about 45 minutes and talked and discussed about panic attacks and the side effects of it and what happens when, this happens and how to control it. And it's just been a really awesome thing to understand that this is a normal thing that happens. This is a very common thing to happen. People go through this every single day. And I just love the fact that I'm not alone. And I would love for you guys to understand that if you guys are going through a panic attack similar to what I went through, you're not alone. And I deal with this on a daily basis. And it's not like, "Oh, I'm going to go into epileptic shock," or "I'm going to go into shock," or "I'm going to faint every single day." No, no. I know when my panic attack is going to happen because I can feel it. I know when my panic attack is going to happen, and I can control it and stop it. That's an amazing thing to understand. And I just want to real quick give you guys some hope that even though that you guys go through panic attacks, even though you guys go through stressful situations in your life, that it'll be okay. You'll be totally fine. You're not alone, guys. You're not. I just wanted to make this video to kind of share with you guys what happened and how I found out that I deal with panic attacks constantly. So maybe one of you guys that are watching my video might go through the exact same thing. I just want to real quick to say that you're not alone and that it's okay to have panic attacks. It's okay. You're just not alone. I guess that's really just what I want to tell you guys. With that being said, I'm going to see you guys next Monday because I still have to do this daily videos until the rest of the year. But thank you guys so much for being there for me. And sometimes you guys don't know what I go through, and just reading the nice comments that you guys send me helps out a lot. And I really appreciate you guys. So, yeah. I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.